Now we're going to look at a couple uses of complements when it comes to probabilities. So in this one, we're looking at a randomly shuffled up deck of cards with 52 cards in them. And we're going to look at what's the probability that the card we select is not a spade. So what I would do in a problem like this is I would start off by writing out that I'm looking for the probability of not a spade. And then I say, well, by the whole rule of complements, that means I'm looking for the complement of a spade. So 1 minus the probability of getting a spade. Now the probability of getting a spade, the simple way of doing it is to say it's 1 in 4. Because there's 4 different suits possible, and one of those is a spade. And then 1 minus 1/4 is 3/4. And that's a use of complements. And again, I would definitely write out the words. It helps out to write out in words what you're doing so you can kind of follow your logic before you start throwing numbers into the mix. Kind of gives you a way of checking your answers as well. Now this next one's a little bit trickier. We've got this 5-question multiple choice test. And we're going to say that you didn't study for it at all, and you skipped class before taking it. You get in there and you basically just got to randomly guess. Mark all C's, whatever. Now, there's only 3 choices on this test. There's only an A, B, and a C. And we want to know what would be the probability of getting at least one question wrong. So, for starters, you can probably assume that this probability is going to be kind of high. To get at least one of them wrong when you're completely guessing, probably a fairly high probability. But at least one wrong, we got to look at that logic. So, we're being asked for the probability of at least one wrong. So what that means to get at least one wrong is that they're not all right. That means the same thing. And this is one of the things that we want to look at from this lesson is that at least means not 0 of them. So not 0 wrong. And 0 wrong, of course, would mean all of them right. So we don't want to get all of them right. Which means we could use complements to say it's the complement of getting them all right. So let's look at what it would mean to get all of them right. What's the probability of getting a single one correct? 1 in 3. There's one way to get it right out of 3 options. And if there's 5 questions, we're going to multiply 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. And if we do that 5 times, that's the same thing as raising to the 5th power. So we could do this in terms of fractions by just looking at the fact that 3 to the 5th power is 243. Which means when I subtract 1 minus that, I could use a calculator or use the fact that 1 would be 243 243rds. Then our probability is out of 243 times taking this test, 242 of them, you're going to get at least one of them wrong. And so that's the probability. And this is how we can use complements to find at least. But notice how I started the problem off all in words. I mentioned that in the last example. But start off all in words so you can make sure you got the logic down for the problem. That's important.